downloadable client, but also playable in the browser. And it's being developed for Android and iOS tablets. They're released in the second half of 2014, and all those players will be able to play together. It's primarily aimed at LEGO fans age 7+, but we're also trying to make sure that we're building enough depth in the game so even the older players will find them enjoyable. As you can see, it's a top-down isometric game, and you use click to move. All the minifigures have 2 abilities each, and those abilities are mapped to the left and right mouse buttons. So for even the youngest players, they'll be able to move and attack just using that mouse button. You also see that there are 3 minifigures pictured down here. There'll be close to 100 minifigures in the game when we launch, and you'll be able to choose 3 of them to have at the ready in any given moment. And those 3 minifigures you can freely switch between on the fly. So for the younger, more casual players, they can just play with the left mouse button. The more experienced advanced players will quickly realize that they actually have 6 abilities that they can use at any given moment. So you see that there are boulders flying, we have some records flying around. We've added projectiles to the game. These are true projectiles you can dodge, get out of the way. And that adds to the action nature of it. Also smashing lots of things. Because as much as LEGO is about building, it's also about taking things apart. So we've got loads of these smashies all over the place. And those will play a big part of the game. You'll smash walls to find hidden areas, and you'll have boss fights where they will build walls and protect themselves, and you smash those. Smashing and building will also be a big part of PvP. We're not going to go into detail on PvP today, but we'll release more information about that later in the year. So in July, we started Friends and Family beta, and we're actually playing live on our beta server right now. We've been fighting our way up this mountain, and now we've encountered another player. So this guy's going to join us. You see a pile of parts here. These are actually parts for a gyrocopter, so we're going to build that. And we'll start building with the Cyclops, but you see he builds very slowly. He's very fun to play with, but he's not a very good builder. So we switched to the DJ. He's a more creative minifigure, a much better builder, and we build very, very quickly. Now we'll run up the ramp, board the gyrocopter, and get transported to the Olympian Forge, which is a dungeon. We're going to have cutscenes. We don't have it yet, so we have this helpful loading screen. Now that we're in a dungeon, it's a more challenging area, so we need to really think about the minifigures that we're going to use. So, first off, we're going to take the roller derby girl. She's quite tough, and she has an ability where she summons her roller derby team, and they push the enemies away from her. That'll help her maneuver in the dungeon. Next up is the fairy. She looks very cute and cuddly, but she actually does a lot of damage. And lastly, we'll take the Galaxy Patrol. He's a good mix of offense and defense, and he has a grenade attack that will actually bounce the monsters up in the air, so when he needs to, he can use that to escape. So this playfield is set in a mountain. We'll be going in the mountain, out the mountain, always climbing up to reach the boss at the top of the forge. I think the art department has done a fantastic job building this level.
It was a lot of fun to work on. The minifigures, as you can see, are fun and vibrant and colourful. There's also many of them. And at launch, we'll have close to 100 minifigures that are playable in the game. And it was only fair to create environments and worlds that are as vibrant and colourful as minifigures. We've seen a tiny taste of in the videos. Some of the worlds we have already are based very strongly around the pirate themes, castle themes, and my personal favourite, space. But this is the mythology world, and this is one of our own creations. Of course, we work very closely with LEGO. We got a lot of feedback and help and guidance from them. But as you can see, it's kind of got its own character, it's got its own identity, and it was fun to work on. There's lots of LEGO in the world as well. We're trying to always continuously add more and more LEGO buildable blocks into the world. As you can see, we have things like the pillars and posts here. These were built in a bit of software called the LEGO Digital Designer. This is a free to download. It's on the LEGO website, and it means because it's built according to the LEGO system, it means if you have the bricks, you can actually build the stuff at home yourself.
Here we're just entering what we call an area quest location. Area quests are bubbles of activity that we put sometimes in some of the animals of the maps that we have that are meant to break the pace or change the pace of the game. They give you soft activities to pay attention to. But we have built this system in a way where we don't tell you specifically what you have to do. In most cases, you won't even get instructions on what to do. You get thrown in a situation that's an attack that you have to defend from, or there's a lot of smashes and buildings. You can build catapults or destroy the enemy catapults. And as you do these activities, you get progress and you get credit for them. And then, well, once you've done enough of this, you will complete the quest. When you complete a quest, you get rewards. The rewards come in the form of loot. Loot can be, you can get yellow stars, which you can spend later on improving any of the minifigures that you have. You can level your minifigures up. And you can obtain the stars with any minifigure that you're playing with, that you like playing with, and spend them on any other minifigure that you want. There's no restrictions or limitations in that regard. You can also get breaks, colorful breaks. These breaks are part of a system we have created that is equivalent to what you would see as armor or swords or weapons in other games, but we don't use a paper roll in this game. What we use is the base plate that the minifigures come on. You can, they come in different sizes and shapes, and you can put the breaks inside these base plates and create your own configurations. And different breaks and different colors give you different bonuses and statistical advantages, and it's part of a complete role-playing game system that we have implemented, so we can challenge the adults that want to play the game intellectually as well.
Now we're moving, as we're climbing, you see that we're going inside and outside. And in the outside areas, you often have to get a look over the edge to show off the verticality that we're building into the game. Because we're going to have a lot of young players, we know that one thing they really like is variety. Variety in the visuals of where they're fighting. So the designers and the artists have been working very diligently to make sure that we're building that visual variety into all of the world design.
As you see, we put smashes wherever we can. They're really fun to destroy. They lift at the ground with different Lego pieces, so we use them a lot.
They're quite dynamic. They're a lot of fun.
Right. As we progress, you're fighting now different types of enemies. We have created a whole set of monsters for the mythology setting. And most of them are minifigure based. You're seeing now some Gorgons and some Satis before. We have put in some monsters that are not quite part of the Greek mythology, like ogres, but well, they're fun, so they're now part of the Greek mythology.
As you can see, we're sort of progressing outside again. This time we're higher up in the mountains, so it's more snowy, and it's that sort of visual progression. It helps, imply that the talented are traveling in the game. It's something visual again. Kids like it. It's fun to work with.
So here we've got the area mission where we need to destroy these harpy nests. And this goes back to what Oscar was saying, that we're not telling you destroy 5 of these, just go here, play, and do what you were going to do anyway, but we give you a little bit of direction. And when multiple players are on the screen and they're all getting these same objectives, they don't even have to be formally grouped up to share credit for things. So if Oscar and I are adventuring in the same area and a mission pops up that says destroy harpy nest, if he destroys one and I see it get destroyed, I also get credit. And any loot that is spawned from that, if I see that loot, it has been spawned for me. So there's no concept of competing for loot, and it's done in this way to help foster the collaborative spirit of it.
There is no monster tagging for experience. There is no waiting for things to respawn to be able to complete objectives. We have gotten rid of all of those mechanics. Here also, as we progress and we get closer to the end of the dungeon, you will see how the nature of the monster encounters have changed a little bit. Before you could see them engage on the screen, they would just run at you. Now they are landing on the side, from the sides of the platforms. They're trying to ambush you. They're trying to start with you. So we're trying to kind of ramp up the difficulty of the encounters and create a more exciting environment as we get closer to the end of the dungeon.
We even have Lego clouds. We're not saying that there will be a hidden cloud level, but there might be a hidden cloud level. Here you can start to see the verticality. These are the platforms we were on earlier. We're climbing higher and higher in this playfield.
We are are getting close to the end of the dungeon now, and as we finish these last couple of monster encounters, you will see how the camera perspective is now shifting. And whereas before it would be on the corner, or you will move diagonally in the screen, now the camera is behind the character. We do this kind of visual change to set the mood and set the pace for what's to come. You know, when the camera changes like this, there's a boss encounter. I'm not gonna get ready. I'm gonna get excited about this. I'm gonna get pumped for the boss. You also see there's a green barrier here. These barriers are points of commitment. They're points of no return. We are pretty light on the death mechanics in the game in general, but sometimes we throw you in situations where you have to defeat a challenge, and this is one of those. Once you go past this barrier, you cannot go back until you defeat the challenge. If you fail, well, then you're going to try again.
So here we're going to be fighting a giant ogre. And you see that there are two buildables in the room. The building will be a central part of every boss fight. There will always be a buildable, and there will always be part of the strategy and how you defeat the boss. In this case, we're building lightning rods. So at a certain point in the fight, the ogre will cause these lightning orbs to spawn. And the lightning orbs will follow the players around doing their damage. So what the players need to do is make sure they've got their lightning rods built, and as soon as an orb starts following them, they'll run to the lightning rod, and the lightning rod will trap the orb. Other examples of that would be in Mythology World, for example, where you fight Medusa. When you're fighting Medusa, there's a giant mirror that you need to build. When you use your gaze attack, you need to hide behind the mirror so that it reflects the attack back on her. So here's the lightning. You see that we've gotten them trapped on the lightning rod. So now we've defeated the boss. We've gotten the minifigure for defeating the boss. And there are several ways you can collect minifigures. Defeating bosses and mini-bosses is one, but you can also earn them for exploring the world, earning achievements, completing quests, and sometimes you'll just get lucky and find them in a chest in the world. After you defeat a boss, you always get to go to a boss room where you get to smash a lot of stuff and get a lot of shiny and new treasure. So normally at this point, we would take our gyrocopter and fly off the mountain, but for this demo, we're going to actually teleport into another dungeon. This dungeon is the underworld. It's the home of Hades.
Just to give you a little bit of backstory for why we're going into the underworld, this is the final section of the final dungeon of the mythology. This is the final boss of the mythology world. Zeus and Hades have always had this kind of brotherly struggle, but they have always been in some sort of balance. But that balance has been very broken now because Hades somehow has become much more powerful. You don't know why he has become more powerful. You will discover this as you play the game. It's our overarching story for the rest of the game. But Zeus now needs your help to go and be over Hades. Hades lives in the underworld. He lives in his temple past the river Styx, the river of souls, which is what we're seeing right now. And we're gonna go down the river of souls. We have jump pads in the game. It's one of the fun dynamic mechanics that we have. They are a very, very powerful level design tool that we use quite a lot. Not only we can say create heights with it, and we can just create floating platforms like this, but also we can use them to hide access to secret locations or to remote locations in general. So you can build them, and then if you know what to build, you build them, and you get access to a ledge with a chest, for example. Here we're fighting skeletons. Skeletons is one of our advanced monster types in the game. It's not because individually they're very complex, they're pretty simple on their own, but it's the combination of the different types of skeletons that we have that make them an advanced monster fight. You have warriors that just run at you and try to hit you in melee range. And sometimes they can range so they run a little bit faster to kind of break the pace a little. And then you have archers who just stay behind the warrior line and shoot at you. It's not just that they don't move and stay where they are. They actually will try to move and stay behind the warriors. And later on you will see how we have sorcerers, mages, that are an advanced version of the archer. They can not only throw fireballs, but they can summon groups of warrior skeletons to stop them. And there's also shield skeletons, which can create a protective bubble that makes them almost immune to all damage. But you can deal with this bubble in different ways. You can stop them from using it by grab controlling them. We have a whole set of stuns and pushes, knockbacks and things like that. But also you can break the bubble using power attacks. And every minifigure has a different type of ability that you can use in different situations. Yeah. To give an example of some of these abilities, not only we try to create situations of monster encounters where we challenge your understanding of the abilities the minifigures have, but also we challenge your ability to create a group of 3 minifigures that they want to bring that work well together. For example, the fairy minifigure, she has on her right here, she can create a shield of sprites that follow her around. This shield absorbs damage, it takes hit, each one of these sprites takes 1 hit. But also when she has it, her main attack is 3 stars instead of 1. The shield effect will actually stay if you switch to a different minifigure. So you can just carry the fairy in your team, not because you particularly like her attack, but because you can then pop the shield and switch to a different minifigure and be able to absorb a lot more damage than you would normally do. This is a monster encounter that we have set up. Once we have taught you the mechanics of how skeletons work, then we throw you into the mix with all the types of skeletons in. So here, they have had to deal with the shield skeletons, and there were sorcerers, and they were hiding behind the lines, and they're pretty good at what they're doing, but the idea is to get rid of the shield skeletons first and deal with their barrier and then kill the sorcerers.
So now you see the camera perspective is changing again, going behind the player, letting you know you're about to have another boss fight. So this will be Hades, and Hades is sitting atop a giant Cerberus, which is a 3-headed dog. So we have a couple buildables in here. And here, on the left side, you have a damage pulse. It's a buff that you get on yourself, pulses damage around you. Hades will summon minions, so having that damage pulse allows you to take out the minions while still focusing your primary damage on Hades. On this side is a statue, and it grants you a shield. This is a defensive shield that will protect you. As the fight goes on, Hades starts to do more and more damage, and you really need to have that shield to make sure you can defeat him. You see the Cerberus in Hades' riding room. It's very different from most of the other enemies that you've seen. This is what LEGO would call a sculpted creature. And just like everything that's made of LEGO in the game could be built if you had the LEGO bricks, the sculpted creatures that we're putting into the game also adhere to LEGO's building system, but their building system for sculpted creatures. So this guy doesn't exist as a physical toy, but if LEGO ever decided to make it, they could, because it follows all of the rules. So now we're wrapping up Hades. It's going down pretty soon. There he goes. Oh, poor Hades. And Hades is very sad. He thought he was going to take over the world, and now he's been defeated, and now he's going to cry about it. We try to do humoristic elements like that to keep the game light and fun. So now we've completed this dungeon, and we've also completed the presentation. So today we've shown you a little bit of the mythology world. We've talked about the minifigures, how you collect them, the way some of the content and encounters work. And the game launches in the second half of 2014. Aimed at LEGO fans age 7+, but also their parents. The game will be on PC downloadable client, and also playable in a browser, so you can just go to the website, click play, and off you go. And iOS and Android tablets. Thank you. That's it.
Thank you.